Hello and welcome. The topic today is, do we really need to detoxify? If we haven't met yet, my name is Pam Bartha and I'm the author of Become a Wellness Champion and the founder of Live Disease Free. This topic is so confusing for people because there are so many different cleanses and detoxes out there, things you can pick up in the health food store, so many different things you can find online, and people are really confused about this topic, and that's why I've decided to talk about it. So what I would really love to know is what your questions are about detoxification, because many of you, I know some of you, I'm working with you, the Wellness Champions, but others have just found me for the first time. So please share with me, what are your questions and confusion around detoxification? I'm going to share a little bit of my 29 years experience. If we haven't met yet, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 29 years ago. So I have been on a health journey for the past 29 years. And now for the past, I would say 18 years, I've been coaching people, but really in the last just under 10 years, working with large groups of people, helping them to recover from chronic disease. And so yes, detoxification is really important for some of us, actually for all of us that are living on planet Earth. But I want to kind of put it in perspective so it makes sense to you, so that you understand what's helpful for you and what isn't helpful. So please make sure that you share this with other people that are looking for answers on how to take their health back, how to improve their quality of life. And this isn't just for sick people. I'm hoping that more and more people that don't have a disease label will start to find this information and start to implement it, because prevention is the key. Prevention, avoiding to hit that brick wall like I did and like so many other people have done with chronic disease, is really the key. So I'm just going to say hello to a few people here. Hi, Troy, and hi, Billy, Allison, Stephanie, hi, Margina, and Blair, hello, Allison. Let's see. All right, so you guys can hear me. I haven't seen anything that you can't. So the topic today is, do we need to detoxify? It's really, and the reason I'm bringing this topic in right now is because we're heading into the holidays. And if you're like me, you know, you're busy, 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 and then all of a sudden the holidays are here, and then we're shopping and we're entertaining and we're just trying to get through it, enjoying ourselves, but not really paying attention to those of us that are not in the program, but just general population. We're just kind of going with the flow. And then in the new year, once we've made it through all the holidays, then we're going, okay, I've gained how many pounds? I feel terrible. Now I'm going to do a detox cleansing. I'm going to get my health back. So what I would like to challenge you to do is to do this before the holidays. All right. The key is that if you start to implement these things before the holidays, you can get through the holidays and people will be saying, you look so good. And you'll be like, yeah, and just share your secret. But basically, the key is to go through the holidays with a lot of energy, to feel well. And when you feel well, then you're not going to be so tempted to go for all those things that will make you feel horrible. Yes, we can have a little bit of fun, but honestly, the fun is in feeling well and enjoying the loved ones around us. So if you can go through the holidays that way, and then you get to the new year and you don't have to make these new year resolutions of, I've got to lose 5 or 10 pounds and I feel terrible, so I've got to do a detox. That way you can start the new year just running instead of crashed and feeling sick. So with respect to detoxification, first of all, it's really important to understand that your body detoxifies 24/7. So there's different organs, different parts of your body that are involved in detoxification. Some of the major ones would be your skin and your lungs, also your lymphatic system, which is your white blood cells, your liver, your kidneys, your digestive tract. So those are just some of the areas that are really involved with detoxification. Normally, as our body is working, there are waste products. So our body is constantly bringing in the nutrition and taking out the waste. And if our body is really healthy and we're feeding it really well and we're really in balance with the microbes that are in our body, and that's what I really teach a lot about, then our body can detoxify naturally. And that's where we want to get to. We want to get to that place because our body is a miracle. It is genetically programmed. It knows exactly how to operate. We just have to support it. So with detoxification, there are specific reasons that we do want to do a little extra work at times to support it. So number one, it's important to know that you can never do a better job than your body. So we're just going to just do everything we can to support it. Then why do we have to detoxify if our body is able to do it on its own? Well, we live in this world where over the past, I would say, over 50 years, maybe 60, 70 years, there have been thousands and thousands of chemicals introduced to our environment. And many of them have not been tested for safety, which is hard to believe, but it's true. So we've got this huge chemical load in our environment. We have a lot of heavy metals that are in our water, in our air, just even food, like everywhere we go, there's heavy metals. So we're getting this buildup of chemicals and heavy metals that is not normal. It's not something that historically has been normal. So we have to be aware of that. Then secondly, we very often we don't have very good lifestyle habits, right? Some of you might relate, like in the past, maybe eating a lot of processed foods that are really deficient in nutrition and have a lot of added chemicals and preservatives in it. So our lifestyle, and maybe we smoked in the past, maybe we drank a lot of alcohol, you know, the different types of food we eat, and maybe we were on a lot of medication. So there's all kinds of toxins that are coming into our body. And if the load isn't too great, then our elimination organs, the detox organs, they can keep up with it. The third reason why we become so laden with toxins is because many of us have these chronic silent infections in the body. So I talk a lot, and if you haven't met me yet, make sure to go through some of my older videos that I talked about the different types of infections that are involved with multiple sclerosis. But it's not just MS, is that the sicker we are, the more different types of infections we have in the body, and the more populated they are in the body, and the sicker we are. So for example, people with MS, Parkinson's, ALS, etc., cancer, diabetes, we have much higher levels of infection in our body. And this would be large and small parasites. Yes, big worms and small ones and parasites we can't see, different types of fungi, different types of bacteria. And these different microbes are notorious for producing tons and tons of toxins. They're like your own personal chemical factory in your body. And so if you are really out of balance with your microbes, then you have all these chemicals that are produced, and there comes a point where your liver and your kidneys cannot keep up with it. And so we end up getting symptoms. We get symptoms, things like foggy head and fatigue and poor memory. We also might have things like pain, and we don't sleep well. We wake up through the night and we have a hard time falling asleep. We may get weakness in our limbs and spasticity and paralysis and numbness, and the list goes on and on. There's so many different symptoms we can deal with chronic disease. Joint pain, back pain. So all of these different symptoms mean that your body needs help. There is too much inflammation and toxins, and so I'm going to talk about some of the solutions for people that don't have chronic disease, but then also we have to step it up for those of us that do. Little simple things like chewing your food. Did you know that that detoxifies your brain? Just the clenching of your jaws together helps to flush the different, not just chemicals, but different waste products plus different microbes to get them out of your system. We know that the central nervous system is not a sterile environment. So there's bacteria, there's fungi, there's small parasites. And that is one way that the body can detoxify the brain is by chewing. So I don't drink shakes. I love to chew my food because I know that that is another way that I can be detoxifying my body. So make sure that you guys share with me questions that you have about detoxification. Maybe you found some, a certain shake plan, or you found this package where you do a 5-day or a 7-day. Honestly, they're really not going to make that big of a difference. But let me see what your questions are. So those are some of the symptoms that are kind of warning signs that we really need to support our body. So what can we do to detoxify? Some really economical, easy, practical ways. Number one, you got to sleep. When you sleep, your immune system is stronger, your body is stronger, your body can operate optimally, right? It needs energy, right? When you sleep, you have more energy to detox. That's super important. We need to hydrate. We need to drink lots of water. So these are really simple things, and I'll get into more, but for everyone, super important. And we need to filter our water, because remember I said there's all kinds of things like aluminum and fluoride and all kinds of other chemicals, pesticides, et cetera, that are in our water. So we need to filter them out so that our liver doesn't have to do that and our kidneys don't have to do that, and then drink lots of water. So sleep and hydrating ourselves, and activity is super important. Just getting blood flow, however, so some of us are quite disabled. Then it's maybe starting with belly breathing. So starting to get oxygen, more oxygen into your body. Your body uses oxygen to kill bad microbes, and that's important. And we need oxygen for lots of other processes in our body. So belly breathing, where when you breathe in, you're pushing your belly out. And when you breathe out, you're pushing your belly in. And doing, set your phone and do that every several times, like 20 times an hour, right? And do that at least throughout the day. For some of us, if we're really disabled, it's as little as grabbing something and just lifting your arms and moving whatever you can. Just get some movement. We know that with circulation, it helps to move the waste products out of our blood, helps to bring nutrition in, it helps to bring in oxygen, it helps to move our immune system, our lymphatic system. Remember that waste, we're getting rid of waste. So really important, any type of movement. And then also some other things that I wanted to share with you as far as things that you can do would be for people that are dealing with chronic disease. Like sometimes these things are not enough. So then we need to take binders. And a binder is something that will suck up poisons. And also if you're doing a heavy metal detox. So for anyone that wants to do a heavy metal detox, it's really important that whoever you're working with, whether you decide to work with an integrative healthcare provider or whether you decide to do it like we do, where we would get an ionic foot bath and we would use cilantro. So the ionic foot bath and the cilantro, they mobilize the heavy metals, and then chlorella will help to bind them and take them out of the body. So we don't really see the toxins in the water. The water looks disgusting. That's more of an electrical reaction with what's in our water. But getting the heavy metals out is really important. And we should, because of the world that we're living in, all of us need to do a heavy metal detox, and then we need to do it periodically as a maintenance program. All right, that's very, very important. Then also, as far as the binders, like if we are killing the bad microbes, let's say we have too many, let's say we're dealing with disease symptoms and we have a lot of these disease symptoms. So we've got, maybe it's a disease label, or maybe we just feel terrible and we just know we've had gas and constipation or diarrhea, etc. So things like activated charcoal or bentonite clay are really economical, one or the other. You don't have to do both. You can take them 1 to 3 times a day. Just make sure you take it away from medications, away from supplements, because it will cause, like if you take it with, it can bind to the medication and then you're not going to absorb it. So just make sure you take it 2 to 3 hours away from medications and good supplements, etc. But they're really good at sucking up poisons, and then you eliminate them through your stool. I'm just going to check to see here if anybody has any questions yet. And as I finish off here with them, as far as I wanted to mention with women that are pregnant, please don't do any detoxification programs when you're pregnant or when you're nursing, because if you do, you're going to find that you're stirring up the poisons, and that's not good for the baby, whether it's a developing baby or whether you're nursing. So please make sure that you don't do any detoxification while you're nursing or you're pregnant. And so we talked about, another big thing too is your bowel movements. That's really, really important, because remember that your bowel movements, that's a really big way that we are eliminating toxins. So if we're constipated, which people are when we're dealing with chronic disease, that's a really common symptom, we have to make sure that we're having daily bowel movements. How do we do that, right? Because a lot of us have been really, really struggling. So we have to make sure that we take supplements that will help that at the beginning. So as far as supplements, some people find magnesium citrate is good enough, but for people that I work with that are really, really sick, we find that we have to use something stronger. Sometimes ozonated magnesium citrate is more helpful, and sometimes we have to take a blend of fiber different types of herbs with it. And I'm not talking about necessarily psyllium. I'm talking about things like there's burdock and marshmallow, and so you'll see there's a bunch of different herbs that are often in kind of laxative type herbal blends, and they may have senna or cascara in them. So a little bit of each, the magnesium citrate and the herbs really help. Another really big important thing is to stop feeding the infections and to lighten the load of the toxins. That's something that everyone can do. So for those of you that aren't sick and haven't met me before, we've got to back off of the alcohol. We have to stop eating all the processed foods. Stop the sugar, right? All of those things are simple things we can do. Bring more vegetables in, bring more high nutrition in. When you do that, number one, you're going to bring in less toxins into your body. So you're going to start feeling better. You're going to have more energy. But then if you do have these infections that are causing disease symptoms, you're going to find that they're more quiet. They're less active. And when they're less active, there's less poisons produced. If we look at Candida alone, Candida albicans, we know that it can produce over 70 different types of poisons. Things like formaldehyde, which is horrible, acetaldehyde, which is the hangover chemical. It's the one that makes us feel like we were hit by a truck. Have you guys ever felt that way? Maybe you ate something the night before and in the morning, you didn't have any alcohol, but you woke up in the morning and you felt like you were hit by a truck. That's acetaldehyde. Tons of alcohol produced by yeast. So, and then if we're talking about worms, we know that they can produce things like tons of ammonia and amphetamines and morphine-like substances. So they can really impact our mood. They can make us feel so depressed. They can make us have super anxiety. So this is why we have to stop feeding them also. So it's not just about eating clean. That is really important, getting the processed carbs out, getting the sugars out, getting the chemicals out, the dyes out, the preservatives out. But it's also about lowering the carbs so that you are not feeding those bad microbes that are living, especially in your GI tract. And when you do that, you notice symptom improvements. And my students have noticed tons and tons of symptom improvements just with changing the eating plan. So remember, sleep and activity and hydration and lowering your toxin load simply through what you're putting in your mouth and also what you're drinking, like keep it to things like water and herb teas, etc. And when you start doing that, what people notice is that, and then, if you're dealing with chronic disease, then we have to treat the infections, right? You can't just starve them to death. I wish you could, but we can't. So this is where we do all those things. We support the body in many ways. We make sure we're having, bowel movements every day, and then we start treating them. And we start treating the large worms, the small parasites. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos, make sure you do, because I have one in particular, MS and parasitic worms. And it's not just people that have MS that have these. A lot of people have worms, big ones, etc. So we want to treat them. We want to treat the fungus so that we don't have all that alcohol. We don't have acetaldehyde and formaldehyde and all of those different chemicals in our body. So it's really important that when you start seeing things on the internet as far as, this program, detoxification in 1 week, it's like, it's not that easy. And also, please be aware that, you have to know what you're getting. So for example, there are herbs that will detox your blood, for example, and they're great to take, or your liver. But this is where you have to know what you're doing, and you have to be really careful. But a 3-day colon cleanse is really not going to address major issues. And our whole goal around detoxification is not just to go, okay, I'm living my life, I'm suffering enough, I'm going to do a 1-week detox, and then I'm going to go back to my life. No, it's about really supporting your body so that it can detoxify itself. And you have to understand that it is constantly cleaning the intestines. It's constantly cleaning the blood. And we just have to make sure to open up the pathways and support the body. And a big factor that's really been overlooked is getting our microbes back in balance. And that's the real strength of what we do in the Live Disease Free Academy. Because if it doesn't matter how much fasting you do, and it doesn't matter how many cleanses you do, but if you still carry around a lot of worms and fungus and candida and different types of bacterial infections, you're still not going to feel like you should. So that's the bottom line. When you do get your microbes back in balance, and then you do support your body so that it can do all the detoxification, this is where people find that their skin glows. They find that they sleep well and they wake up refreshed. They have energy all day. They can do all kinds of things. And I'm going to do a praise report next week of students that are on this journey right now, and the night and day difference within 6 weeks, 2 weeks to 6 weeks to 2 months maximum, life-changing experiences. They're going through this journey right now, and it's so super exciting. So things like I said, your skin and your being able to reach your ideal body weight, that's a really big one. Getting rid of the scale out of your home and just eating when you're hungry, and not having the crashes, not needing caffeine, just having energy throughout the whole day. Super, super fun. And not being run by addictions. It's like, oh, I need my coffee. Oh, I need this, I need that. To be able to go out and have fun and not to have to drink a lot of alcohol, but just to have the energy and the good mood. And what a lot of people say is that once they get their microbes in balance and they support their body so it can naturally detox, they find their old self coming back. They're happy again, that playful self that you had, not having the mood swings, right? Another huge thing. It really is anti-aging. So I really want to challenge you to think about detoxing right now, and the proper way where you're supporting your amazing body so that it's going to do the detoxing. Then you go through the holidays and people are like, what have you been doing? You look really good. And you have the energy to have the fun with your loved ones, and you start the new year running. You don't have to make those horrible resolutions that every year you have to make, and you don't have to suffer. Why suffer? It's not worth it. Trust me. The addictions are not worth it. All right, so I'm going to check to see if you guys have any questions for me. Allison, if I choose vitamin C as my detox agent, would this deliver any sugar to the infection? So vitamin C is not really a detox agent. Vitamin C, our body is using it for all kinds of things. Like if you're, oh, I see what you're saying, for helping you to have bowel movements. If we take vitamin C, you can use that. There's lots of other things we can use to help moving the bowels, but it's totally fine. Just make sure that you get some that is like from a health food store. It's non-genetically modified. So sometimes the vitamin C is, the ascorbic acid is coming from corn. So you want to make sure it's non-GMO and it's not going to hurt you at all. And you just increase it to help having bowel movements, if that's what you're asking. But otherwise it's not, it's just a wonderful vitamin that we would take and we would get mostly through food, but we can also use it to help for elimination. And those would be especially when we're dealing with treating the infections. Great question. Hi, Daniela. Hi, Pam. Hi, Victor. Oksana, so what are you taking for that? For myself, I'm not sure what you're asking as far as detox. Honestly, when you get to the healthy part of your, like when you recover and you get the infections back, then you just do optimal nutrition and eat really healthy and all the lifestyle things, get enough sleep and exercise. Your body is just going to detox on its own. And yes, obviously we have to do a heavy metal detox. You know, what would be ideal for myself is like once a week now with the ionic foot bath, even just once a week or once every 2 weeks, once you've reduced the heavy metals. So that's the key, is reduce them first. And that's twice a week and Dr. Klinghardt found in 5 or 6 weeks that people were able to decrease their heavy metal detox by half. But after that, you just do maintenance. It's prevention, right? So that's the thing. I don't buy detox kits. Your body knows how to detoxify on its own. So that's the thing, is that you do all of these simple steps and then you just support your body simply. Hi, Lori and Missy. If there was something else, Oksana, just let me know if I missed it. So Dan, you're seeing fungi and small worms. You took pictures. Awesome. You should send them to me for sure. And Nancy, hello. And hi, Catherine. And Dawn, hi. Not a lot of questions here. So Robert, or John, you're taking 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily. I would just like to know why. Is that to help with bowel movements? But remember that what I really teach is that we're using these things to help us to get things moving, but then we have to treat the cause of why you're constipated. You shouldn't have to live on 10,000 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. All right, that's just to use to help you to get things moving, and then you treat the infections. So it's not, treat the root cause. That's the bottom line. When you treat the root cause, you have the highest quality of life. Hi, Henny and Marie. Hi, Sybil, Elvira, Kim. Please come, okay, and John, Monsanto's, yes, be careful with the GMO. You want to make sure that the company says it's not genetically modified. Awesome. So John, you've been doing no refined carbs, no gluten, no dairy for 2 years, started January 2019, or for 2 years. Awesome. That's great. And so this is where I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you, like, are you at where you want to be with your health? If you're not, then you've got to take it up to the next level. Hello, Troy. Awesome. So it looks like you don't have a lot of questions for me. So that's great. So let me just double check here. Okay, so Dana, you're just wondering, how important is an ionic foot bath in this process? I've been using chlorella, but I haven't yet purchased the ionic foot bath. When you use chlorella, it will help to get rid of the toxins that are in your intestines, for example, but it's not going to mobilize the heavy metals that are in different parts of your body. The ionic foot bath definitely will. And cilantro is known for that also. So if you truly want to do a heavy metal detox, then you have to either work with a naturopath and do either IV or oral chelation, or you can do the ionic foot bath. And the ionic foot bath is something that is more gentle, and I really like it. It's something that's more cost effective also. And Dr. Klinghardt is one of the hero doctors that we're following, and he finds that when he tests, so that he's not testing the water. Remember that the water really does not have, we're not eliminating a lot of heavy metals in the water. But when he tests things like urine or blood or hair, he finds that there's a lot of heavy metals that are released. And that's why he says to do it only twice a week, because you don't want to tax your kidney. You don't want to have too much heavy metals coming out at one time. So the chlorella on its own is not going to be enough. All right, I think that's it for the questions. So I'm going to let you guys go. Next week is Halloween. So we're not going to have a call, or we're not going to do a Facebook Live next week, because a lot of people are going to be out giving kids candy, which is really toxic, but that's for another topic. What I'm going to do next week is I'm going to be giving you an update of students that are on this journey. They are treating the infections that are, and so they're recovering from chronic disease, a lot of them from multiple sclerosis. And it's just wild. Like, I just have to share it with you because it's so amazing. And if you're at that place where you're like, I want to be one of them, I want to be a wellness champion, I want to start on this journey, I want to end this year strong, then make sure to watch my masterclass training, because I talk about the infections and I talk about how they're causing symptoms. And you'll find the link with this video. So just watch the video, and then you'll have an opportunity to reach out to me if you're ready. If you're at that place where you are done with information and you want a step-by-step plan, that's what I can help you with. So make sure to watch my masterclass training, How to Recover from MS Naturally. And if you haven't met me, go through and watch. I've got a ton of videos on infections, the different types of infections that are involved with MS, but also all kinds of other different types of videos. I talk about heavy metal detox. I talk about different types of detoxification. So make sure to watch them. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have an awesome week. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.